Hi, I'm Paul Ostermaneer, and this is Roast the Post, the story behind the bullet points. So let us get started. And Jen, I got a job ad for you. I think that you are going to like this one, but not in the way that we usually look at job ads and say, oh, that was really good. This is just, it's different. And you'll find out what I mean as we go through it. So this week, we're unpacking a job ad so stealthy, even the job description is in witness protection. Meet the founding biz ops lead at a VC-backed legal AI startup. Or maybe it's an AI legal startup. Who knows? You're going to build the operating system for a hybrid firm tech company, law firm or tech company. And the role just screams clarity, at least clarity in the sense that it blends finance, go-to-market, hiring, and a whole bunch of other things underneath a vaguely lofty mission statement to transform the global practice of law. The real fun part of the entire affair, though, your first interview will be with an AI system named Jack. So, is this opportunity a real career turbocharger or just another experiment in unsupervised AI-driven hiring? Let's roast this post.
I don't like it already. Spoiler. I have no idea. I haven't seen the job posting ahead of time, but I can tell you right now, no, not feeling this one.
Yeah, I picked this one very specifically because I knew you would have some feelings and we would have some things to talk about. So the title for this role, and this is like verbatim the title that was from the job posting, is Founding Biz Ops Lead at Stealth VC-backed legal AI startup. That's going to be your job title if you get hired. How much fun is that?
I'm just writing it down so I can properly digest. Founding Biz Ops Lead.
Mm-hmm. Okay. At Stealth VC-backed legal AI startup.
Okay.
This is one of the times where I'm going to advocate for an acronym because, like, can you imagine saying that to somebody in casual conversation over like dinner or pints? Like, oh, what do you do? Well, I'm the founding biz ops lead at Stealth VC-backed legal AI startup.
I mean, this is so to me, the fact that they're putting founding in there is meaning maybe they're looking for a co-founder then in this role, and then Stealth VC backed legal AI startup. Like, that's not the name of the company. I guess I hear this as them being like, we don't want to tell you the name of our company. Like, I think that's why it's so wordy, right? That there are a whole lot of things happening just in this first intro. So very interesting.
Yeah, this is very much a company that is in stealth mode.
Yeah.
Which has always driven me a little bit nuts when companies talk about how they're in stealth mode, and people who are in these companies talk about like, oh, we're in stealth mode, we've got like some seed money and we're building something, and we'll see in a year when we come out of stealth mode. And it's like, okay, then shut up. Like, why are you talking about being in stealth mode? Like, go do your stuff and come back in a year.
My partner had a company approach him to like a kind of stealth mode company, very NDA, and they were like, "Can you come work for us and do some of the specific work that he does?" It's a very specific type of engineering that he does, and they're like, "We can't tell you much about the company. We also can't pay you." Like, I'm not even kidding. It was real and very, very bizarre. So this already kind of feels like that a little bit. He didn't do it, just FYI, he didn't do it, but it was like fascinating because things like that are out there. Things like that exist. Like, yep. When they say not paying you, it's like, here's some shares or options or like whatever. But bet on us and like, you'll be rich, kid. Like that kind of situation. So a bit snake oily.
This has those vibes for sure. Yeah. But let's start off with the roasty profile. So this is just the profile of the organization and the job. The title of the job, Founding Biz Ops Lead at Stealth-backed VC or VC-backed legal AI startup. There's your job title. The report to title is unknown. We don't know who this is reporting to. Size of the company is 2 to 10 employees. Okay. The industry is legal services. What do? Well, they're lawyers. and they build AI, or maybe they're AI lawyers. We're just not sure at this point what they do or what they are because they're in stealth mode. Head office location, it's unknown. Job location posted as Toronto, Ontario, Canada. Geographical operating area is unknown. And the job type is not listed, but I think we can kind of assume that it is full-time permanent because you wouldn't have a founding business operations leader being anything other than that, unless they really aren't paying and they say, you know what, work when you work, which would be weird.
I do have a question already about the roasty profile here. Legal services industry. That's interesting to me. That it's not like a software or a tech industry. So they are because they're saying they're a like legal AI startup. They're not saying that they're like a legal firm trying to incorporate AI into their practices. So to me, that's a software industry, is it not?
We'll find out. It's very ambiguous. It's very ambiguous, but you're right. That's something that stuck out to me as well because they're not saying that they're a software company, and you would expect that to kind of be the pathway, right? That a company trying to build AI services for the legal industry would kind of take like, yeah, we'll build a software platform, we'll do this and that. Maybe we'll do something agentic, but they're not saying that. They're just
Yeah.
saying they're a legal AI firm. So are they trying to build AI lawyers? Who knows? That would be interesting. That would be interesting because there have already been failed experiments and a lot of missteps in a lot of jurisdictions where there's been this kind of weird merging of the law and AI, and judges aren't having it for a lot of the cases. Like I read something the other day about a lawyer in California who had been sanctioned by the Bar Association because they wrote their briefs with AI and it just made stuff up that didn't exist, and the judge didn't dig it.
Yep, absolutely, absolutely. And as being in human resources too, like I do a lot of advisory work, and I see sometimes letters from terminated employees that are clearly written by AI. Like they've got all the legalese and everything, but it's very much AI written. And I get it, people might not have the resources to be able to go and get legal support. But it's really risky. You have to be really, really careful when you're dealing with that kind of thing for like it it's legal. Like it's there, you just can't mess around with that kind of stuff. So very interesting to hear more about this founding biz ops lead. I have to read it. The role.
It's quite the mouthful, that job title.
Yeah.
So this is another one where I'm going to go through the entire job ad because this job ad is very unconventional. And we're going to be talking about things that we don't normally talk about, I feel. So I don't want to leave anything out. Like this ad it's weird. It's different. So there are in this job ad 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There are 8 sections in this job ad: about the job, job title, company description, job description, location, why this role is remarkable, what you will do, and the ideal candidate. Those are the sections in the job ad. So starting off with about the job. And I'm reading verbatim again for the folks at home. So if I stumble over some stuff or something seems a little bit weird, it's just what they wrote. And I'm trying to represent the best that I can what they've actually put down on paper. About the job. This is a job that Jill, our AI recruiter, is recruiting for on behalf of one of our customers. She will pick the best candidates from Jack's network. The next step is to speak to Jack, and then there's a link that allows you to go and speak to Jack. That's it for that section. Then we get into...
Wait. Can you remind us again? I remember you mentioned Jack. So who is Jack again?
Jack, to be honest, this is all that we really know at this point. Jack is an AI, and Jill is an AI. There are 2 AIs presumably working together to do recruiting for this job.
Are you punking me? right now. Is this, is this for real? Where did you find this job posting?
This was on LinkedIn, and yep, it's for real. I promise you that I am not punking you. This job, this is as it was posted on LinkedIn, and it's different.
Y'all, times are wild right now. Like we have to take care of ourselves because this kind of thing that's happening right now is it's horrifying. It's a bit of a nightmare. I'm also confused about, so Jill's the AI recruiter working on behalf of the client. Well, who's the client then? So this is like a third party, like I think I just don't understand.
Yeah, and you would not be alone. Reading through this as a job candidate, your first reaction to reading this, the way that it's laid out and structured and everything, would be like, "What the is going on? I don't get it."
This is so bizarre. It's like alternate universe bizarre. Okay.
There's Jill, and Jill is the AI recruiter. There's Jack, and Jack is another AI, and it is a third-party recruitment firm. It's called Jack and Jill, which it could just be Jack and Jill and like their human overlord who pays for their tokens. Who knows? But this is a third-party recruitment firm called Jack and Jill. Jack is AI, Jill is AI, and then their client is this stealth mode legal AI company that's looking for somebody. That's what's going down.
Okay, I hate it. Thank you. Keep going.
So that's the about the job section. That's all that it puts in that section.
But that's not about the job.
Sure isn't.
Okay.
Sure isn't.
Okay.
The next section is job title. Founding BizOps lead at VC stealth VC backed legal AI startup. That's your job title. There's a thing on salary, but we'll skip over that for now and come back to it later because we do like to play the salary guessing game. I know you love it so much. So that's the next section, job title. The next section after that is company description. So here's what they have for company description. Stealth legal AI startup backed by leading venture investors and founded by AI Frontier Lab experts. There's your company description.
Wow. I'm at a loss for words, which is not great. Okay.
We can carry on to the next section. I feel like we haven't even gotten enough out about this to have like a conversation about it yet. So the job description is the next section. And the job description as written is, you will build the operating system for a unique hybrid entity that is both a law firm and a technology company. Working directly with founders from elite law firms and AI labs, you will lead high-stakes projects across finance, GTM, and GTM just means go-to-market for folks who aren't familiar with that acronym, and hiring to transform the global practice of law. There's your job description.
Oh my God, Paul. No, this for like a legal type thing, this feels very illegal. Okay, so BizOps, I'm trying to give a little bit here. So BizOps lead. Again, why is founding in there? Maybe we find out after the fact. But you're doing hiring, you're doing, I mean, I don't even know what this job is doing. You're hiring people, you're doing projects, working with other elite law firms. Okay.
And big important investors and people who founded a Frontier AI lab. Like, yeah, you're working with all the really cool, important people. If you believe the 2 sentences of actual meat that we've come across so far in this job ad. Like if we were to, putting aside kind of our mutual dislike, I think, of this so far, if we were to strip out all of the AI stuff and forget that this is like an AI legal startup for a second and think, okay, this is a law firm. All right, so this law firm is going to be a lawyer or a couple of lawyers forming a partnership, and they're looking for somebody to structure their practice and figure out how to run the administration, how to run the business, the billing, all that stuff. I think that's what they're trying to communicate that they need. They need someone to build them a business because they don't have the skills or interest in doing it themselves. I think that's where we're going with this. But the details are very, very scant right now.
And you're being very, very generous. I think that if I were to consider using an AI recruitment firm, and this was a demonstration of their capabilities, I would not be going with the Jack and Jill AI firm. Let me just tell you that right now. Like, it's weird. Like, I'm not a super AI forward person. Like, I use AI, but I don't know how to do all of the things. But if I was working with a recruitment firm that was like an AI based recruitment firm, I would expect this to be like one of the sickest job ads I've ever seen and be like, whoa, I'm blown away by these capabilities. Not like the opposite of that. Not like my 8-year-old son came and typed like, doo, 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 and then spit out this job posting. Like, the so bizarre. Okay, yeah, you're being very generous with what you are imagining that this role is implying, but yeah.
So there's more, and perhaps you'll be a little bit more impressed with what comes next. The next section is why this role is remarkable. And here we now have our first series of bullet points in the job ad.
Okay.
So we've got some bullet points to read between the lines on. Join a small founding team of under 10 people in a category defining company at the intersection of professional services and bleeding edge automation. Then unrivaled founder pedigree with leadership hailing from world-class AI research labs and top-tier North American law firms. And finally, massive career acceleration, where 2 years of ownership across strategy and execution will provide more growth than 5 years in a traditional environment.
So that line, that last line, we've seen this a few times now. I've seen it in job postings. I think we've talked about it before. When they say like you are going to get more from this role than you would at like however many years you spent at a different organization, is basically saying we are going to bleed you dry. Like, we are going to work you so hard. That's what they mean.
Yep.
They don't mean, because they're not saying mentorship or training or professional development. They're basically saying like we're going to work your ass so hard that it will feel like you just worked for 15 years. Like, that's, to me, that's what I read. That's what I think when I read that bullet point. Again, like I said, we've seen it in different job postings. And they're trying to say, like, because it's a learning environment, because there's so much happening, like this opportunity, you're going to grow so and develop so quickly and gain all of these skill sets that would take you much longer elsewhere. But how do you do that?
Yeah.
How is that possible? There's something to be said for having years of experience, right? Like having the space to fail, to fall flat on your face, and then learn from that. Having the space to try something, to iterate, and keep going to improve, but to try to condense that all in a certain period of time doesn't allow for those things to happen. So to me, it's just not setting anyone up for success. It feels like it's a flex, but it's not. So very interesting.
Yeah. And they've titled this section "Why This Role is Remarkable."
Yeah.
Right. So that section title really kind of says, like, this is what's in it for you. This is why you're going to love it. This is why it's a phenomenal opportunity for you. But then they have 3 bullet points where the first one is like, join a small founding team. Okay. So that's fine. Some people love doing that. Some people love wearing all of the hats and doing all of the things and being alongside a bunch of people who same. Then you've got like unrivaled founder pedigree. So you're saying, oh, the person who founded this company is just the most amazing individual ever. So perhaps by being in proximity to them, it'll rub off on you and you'll get so much out of it and you'll grow as a person and, be amazing. And your next thing will be just amazing because of your proximity to this person while you're working your ass off. And then, lastly, like you said, we're going to give you 2 years and it'll feel like 5. Which, yeah, that is coded language for saying you're going to work and stuff's going to be thrown at you and you're going to have to figure it all out. And there is a certain amount of value that comes from that, from for your own like professional and career development. Like, yeah, being forced to figure stuff out, it's like creating a diamond, but it's exhausting.
Yeah.
And is it worth the trade-off? I don't know, highly debatable. Each person has to decide for themselves whether that is worth it for them. The only thing that's certain is that you're going to work your ass off for however long you're there.
And you're making a good point, right? Like you have to make that determination. Is it worth it for you to kind of like lose 2 years of your life but gain a whole bunch of knowledge? Sure. How transferable is that though? Like if you're like, I can do this for 2 years, and then I'm going to peace out and I'm going to find something that's more my pace, but just like get everything I can from it. That's totally cool if you want to make that decision. But how does that translate outside of this organization? Are those skills transferable? Are they relevant? Who knows? Are you gaining something that is actually going to drive your career forward? Or are you just, are they just extracting things from you and then you leave depleted and you don't really have much to show for it? I worked at a company for like 4 years where it was kind of like that. It was like go, 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 lots of things being thrown at you. We were constantly pivoting. We were always like very visionary. And by the time I left, I didn't have anything to show for it, like to put on my
Mhm.
resume to say, I did this or I did that. And it ended up like we transformed this and here was the return on investment. We didn't live in anything long enough to see the results of that work because we were just constantly pivoting. And like you have to think about that too. Like what did that do for me and my resume and being able to speak to the work that I accomplished during that time? Like not a whole lot. Like not a whole lot from those 4 years. Like did I learn a lot? Yeah. But it was it applicable when I was like in the job search? Not necessarily. There really wasn't much I could put on my resume to speak to, because like I said, everything we tried just kind of like fizzled out or died, and then we are on to the next like shiny object. So
hmm hmm And you also think about like in those kinds of environments where you are continually being challenged, like you have to come up with solutions because nobody has the solutions and the buck
mm,
stops with you. The skills that you tend to really develop and get really good at, like problem solving, like situational
mhm,
awareness, like critical thinking. Those are really useful things to have, and being strong, even design thinking, even being like a strong design thinker, fantastic skills to have, but they don't actually translate
yeah,
well to what goes on your resume, right? Because the way that the hiring process works, the way that the labor market works, even though those things are intrinsically valued, there aren't systems that are used to measure them and objectively score you. Like you can't go into a job interview and say, well, hey, I've got a 96% rating in critical thinking from whatever lab, because those systems don't exist. They should, because those skills are increasingly what people are going to have to compete on in like
yeah,
the new labor market, but they don't exist, right? So all
yeah,
that time is like, to some degree, it's kind of a waste if you
yeah.
think about just your resume.
I agree.
Let's move on to the next section. And this section is what you will do. So we got some more bullet points here. Design and scale the internal operating systems for finance, HR, compliance, and vendor management to unify law firm and tech operations. Direct cross-functional strategic projects, including client onboarding workflows, billing processes, and financial modeling for new practice areas. And lastly, support fundraising and investor relations by managing narrative data rooms, financial reporting, and KPI dashboards in partnership with the CEO.
So when we go back to the head count, it said under 10 people. So, in the
Yep.
category in LinkedIn, it'll say 2 to 10 employees. To me, this, and based on what you just went over, I would say we're talking about 2 employees. Based on those job responsibilities, I think it's the CEO and then this person.
This could be the first hire.
This could be the first hire. We've seen this quite a bit. And, you look at those responsibilities and you think, okay, they have no one doing any kind of like operation. It sounds like the CEO is doing everything. They're looking for someone to really, like you said, set up the business. And it does seem quite random. The mix of tasks are all like necessary work that needs to get done for a business to be successful. But it very much feels as though, oh, you don't already have someone doing these things. It's probably the CEO off the side of their desk. We need you to do like data room and all of that stuff and fundraising. That's very specific skill sets, and you need like financial modeling experience to be able to successfully manage a lot of the data room information. You also need HR experience, and so you're looking for someone who
Mhm.
has a lot of like skill sets that are you don't just throw away, and everybody does, but you can just throw away HR experience. That's not just something that you fit into a
Yep.
list of things that you are capable of doing. And I feel very passionately about that. But just to throw in, oh, and finance and HR and
Mhm.
compliance, oh, and fundraising and data room management, like those are all very specific skill sets. So to find someone who can do all of that, sure, you can find someone to do it well. Mm-mm. So to me, because they're looking for someone to wear so many hats, it tells me that this is likely a two-person organization. Because if it's more than that, they wouldn't say like under 10 people. Like they're telling you right there. Like they would say 10 people, right? Like under 10 people. Then they would say like a team of 6 or a team of 9. Like this is a very, very small uh like non-existent team, I guess is what I'm saying.
Yeah. It almost makes me wonder if this is like a moonshot
Mm.
inside an existing organization. Like maybe there is a company that's already established, and they mentioned that there's a frontier AI lab that's kind of in the founders, orbit or whatever. Like, so that kind of tells us that, like, all right, one of the founders, if there's more than one, has a background in that, and that's where this is coming from. Maybe inside that organization, they're saying, let's build out, or
Yeah.
let's try to build niche businesses and resource them, staff them, experiment, see what works. And then if it works, spin them off. Maybe that's what they're trying to do. So maybe there is in that established company, at least a technical staff that you would be drawing on. And you're meant to be kind of the prototyping, build a business person inside this. And if it's kind of successful, if they can build a product that kind of works, then the founder is going to go into fundraising mode and they go into spin-off mode and they're like, yep, let's build like a separate business from this. Maybe that's what's going
Yeah.
on. Maybe.
We just don't know.
We just don't know, but man, we like to spin stories in our head,
We
that's for
sure
sure.
do. A lot of assumptions.
The next section is the ideal candidate. And I found this one particularly interesting given what we've seen in previous sections. So the ideal candidate, 4 to 7 years of experience in top tier consulting or business operations within a high growth startup environment, high impact execution mindset with the ability to switch seamlessly between complex financial modeling and negotiating vendor contracts, systems oriented thinker who operates at level 4 to 5 effectiveness, prioritizing ruthlessly in early stage ambiguity while biasing toward action. That's the ideal candidate.
Okay. Can we just talk about level 4 to 5 effectiveness? Like on what scale? Like,
I don't know, like the Richter scale. Maybe they'll be so impactful that the ground will start shaking and buildings will start vibrating, and that's how you'll know that success has come.
like, there's no other information about like what are they talking about, a framework or anything? They're just saying level 4 to 5 effectiveness. So it could be level 4 to 5 out of like 50 levels.
Sure.
Like, wow. Okay.
I mean,
Um,
maybe Jack wrote this job ad while Jill went looking for people. Like one of them was going up the hill, one was falling down the hill. Who knows?
who knows? Okay, that's really interesting. What are your thoughts on that, the ideal candidate?
So the thing that stuck out for me was like earlier on in the job post, they say massive career acceleration. Like they're going to turbocharge your career. So, 2 years of working in this environment is going to provide you the professional growth that you would get in 5 years in a traditional environment. They're saying that, and that language codes toward a certain person, right? Like early career, ambitious, hungry, wants to learn, wants to really get into something that's high impact eventually, but really like wants to put their career off on solid footing. Like that's what that part really codes for me. But then they're saying the ideal candidate has 4 to 7 years of experience in top tier consulting. So I think of that like the big four, right? Like you've gone to
Yeah.
work for Deloitte or PwC or any of those guys. But to work in those organizations and truly top tier consulting organizations, you don't start that out of school. Typically you have 5 to 10 years experience before you get your shot joining those really high paying management consulting organizations. So we put those two things together and it's like, all right, so they're looking for someone who has at least 10, maybe 15 years experience in the workforce. They're established in their career, but they want someone who is young and hungry, probably not going to work for a lot of money, and is going to put value in that whole idea of like, we'll turbocharge your career and you'll be working near top tier investors and you'll be working near the founder of a frontier AI lab, blah, 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 blah. Those things are mismatched. If you've been
Yeah.
working at a top tier consulting firm, why would you do this? Why would you take this leap? Unless money is no object and you're just like looking for an interesting challenge and something disruptive and you can work for free and it's fine. Like,
Well, this is where I go back to the title where it says founding BizOps, whatever the title is. Like, is there something that indicates within this job posting at some point that you would be considered, like you would be brought in at the founder level, have founder rights and all of those things. So that's what's interesting to me as well. And I also like the ideal candidate, like sure, consulting or they've worked in like high growth startups. There's nothing about like maybe experience um in a startup that has been venture backed, that has successfully fundraised a certain amount of money. It's quite vague about those things. Like when you look at the what you're going to be doing or like, yeah, what the responsibilities are, it's weird when you see that they don't often line up with like qualifications or in this case, the ideal candidate. Like, so you're looking at someone who's going to be doing all of these things, but you're not asking that they have done these things. It's really like there's a misalignment there, and it's not just this job posting. I find that happens quite often. They ask for you to have all sorts of different types of like you're going to be doing all these different types of things, but not once are they asking for you to have actually had the experience doing those things. It's so bizarre.
and what's even more fun about the comments that you just made is that is really the end of the job post.
Yeah.
That wraps up what they have put out there for finding someone. So yeah, they haven't really talked about qualifications. They haven't really talked about skills. They've put in very, very vague statements about responsibility and ownership, like what you'll own, what you'll be doing. Like for me, I get what they need and what they want, but it is not at all descriptive. And it also doesn't talk about options or shares or
Yeah.
ownership or anything like that. And I would expect for there to be something like that in an offer like this, because the salary is probably not going to be great, right?
Well, and it just goes back to like that section that they decided to title it what's remarkable about this role. Like
Yeah.
there is nothing remarkable about this job at all, except that it's so poorly written by a company that is, an AI recruitment firm. That's what's remarkable to me. Like you have a heading like that. It's an opportunity to actually like, what else? What are the benefits? Like, what are the benefits? What are the perks? What is the mission of this organization? What is the culture like? What are the values? There's nothing about, we say this so often, but you are trying to convince someone that this is the place that they want to work. but there's nothing in here convincing me that I would like to work at this company. I don't even know anything about the organization. It's really poorly done.
Which makes me think that it was written by this AI recruiting system, and there just wasn't a lot to go with, so it came up with some BS, and now we have a job ad.
But if you are going to have an AI run recruitment firm, wouldn't you want to use that as an opportunity to start doing things better, not worse? Isn't that what we're supposed to be trying to do?
That is, in theory, the point of AI. Do things
Huh.
better, more productivity, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But
Yeah.
I don't think that necessarily translates into reality. Now, there is one more part to this job ad that I really want us to go into, and it's not actually about the job itself. So this is about the third-party recruitment platform or whatever. So it says, "Who are Jack and Jill?" Okay, I'll go first. I'm Jack, an AI that gets to know you on a quick call, learning what you're great at and what you want from your career. Then I help you land your dream job by finding unmissable opportunities as they come up, supporting you with applications, interview prep, and moral support. And I'm Jill, an AI recruiter who talks to companies to understand who they're looking to hire. Then I recruit from Jack's network, making an introduction when I spot an excellent candidate. Next steps. Step 1, visit the job listing, which is just the exact same thing that we've read through here. Step 2, click Talk to Jack or go to this link. Step 3, talk to Jack so he can understand your experience and ambitions. Step 4, Jack will make sure that Jill, the AI agent working for the company, considers you for this role. Step 5, if Jill thinks you're a great fit and her client wants to meet you, they will make the introduction. Step 6, if not, Jack will find you excellent alternatives, all for free. We never post fake jobs. This isn't a trick. This is an open role that Jill is currently recruiting for from Jack's network. Sometimes Jill's clients ask her to anonymize their jobs when she advertises them, which means she can't share all of the details in the job description. We appreciate that this can make them look a little bit suspect, but there isn't much we can do about it. Give Jack a spin. You could land this role. If not, most people find him incredibly helpful with their job search, and we're giving away his services for free.
Can you go back to what was the line? It's not our fault. Because I think I blacked out halfway through. What was that one line?
We appreciate this can make them look a bit suspect, but there isn't much we can do about it. And they're talking about, sometimes our client says, anonymize this job posting, which is the case here because we're looking for somebody who is at a VC-backed stealth legal tech AI startup.
Can you imagine hiring a company to do work for you that is apologizing for how shitty their work is? Like,
imagine if it was people. Yeah, exactly.
can you
Imagine if this was analog and this was a recruiting firm and the recruiter said in their marketing materials, sometimes my client companies ask me to anonymize or redact certain information. And I get that this makes the job ad that I put out in the conversation I have with you seem super sus, but sorry, there's nothing I can do.
just because it's anonymized, it doesn't mean it has to be a terrible, like, product outcome. I don't understand. I also think that, like, I understand they're doing a play here on Jack and Jill, but like, this is where I go back to, aren't we supposed to be using AI to make things better? Like, could you choose whiter names for these people? Could you not try to make it a little bit more diverse, a little bit more interesting? This is so wildly disappointing, and I can't even believe anyone would have paid money for these services. I can't even believe that. Like, this is the shoddiest, most embarrassing work that I've ever seen. This is like horrifying. It's a nightmare. It feels like it's a really bad, like, beginning to a movie. I'm sure there could be a great horror movie based on everything we just reviewed somewhere. I don't know.
So I have an alternative theory.
Okay.
Perhaps this recruiting thing is another one of their products that they're trying to turn into a company. And perhaps this is marketing. It would be like the worst marketing in the known universe because it's so shoddy, but perhaps this is marketing.
So it's funny that you say that because I also thought that. I'm like, what if this whole AI thing is actually this company itself playing around with like this function? I did think that, but then I was like, but how it's so bad. But I guess that's better than the alternative of them actually like using someone's services to create this disaster. So yeah.
It is it's not great. It's not great. Yeah. And that is it. Like in its entirety. That is all that we have to work with this. So we're going to go into intermission. I'm going to send Jen the link to the job ad so that she can take a skim through it. And while you do that, I'll check in on the folks in the live studio audience, and we'll do Q&A and have a bit of a boo.
Are we guessing the salary before? I just don't want to, if it's on the posting, I don't want to see it first as a spoiler.
Right. So the salary was not provided.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, the salary was not provided, and they did say in the job ad salary range, and then not provided. So like they're they're honest about it at least. You know, I won't beat them up too much about that because under 10 employees they're not legally required to list salary in Ontario. But like we've talked about before, list it, just list it.
Why wait until your hand is forced? Just do it. Just do it.
You're going to be skipped over your job ads because this is a requirement in so many jurisdictions. Companies have started doing it even when they don't have to. So if you're a job seeker, if you're looking for a job and you're going through, 50 job ads a day, 100 job ads a day, and you have some that fit your skills, your background, your experience, and it lists a salary that works for you, and then you have some that don't, are you going to pay any attention to the ones that don't? Probably not.
It saves you a step too as like the hiring company. I've seen jobs where I'm like, oh, this looks like a really cool HR job. Like I feel like I would be really interested in it, only to get to the bottom where it says salary. And I'm like, oh, no, thank you. Not at this point in my career. And so it saves me time. It saves them time instead of coming into that conversation thinking everything's a good fit and only to learn that you're completely misaligned on the salary. Like just list it. Anyway, okay. Well, I'm ready to read the full job posting and prepare for my rating.
All right. The link is in your email. We will, you can shut off your camera, and then whenever you're ready to carry on, just come on back. Welcome back, Jen.
Thank you. I mean, there wasn't much for me to review. Usually we just pull out highlights to share. And then when we take an intermission, we read the full job posting. But like you said, you covered it all. So there wasn't too much to review there.
The stuff about the AI recruitment platform was actually longer than the job ad itself, right?
Yeah.
Never a good sign. Like imagine if a human recruiting agency did that in their job ads, right? Like the stuff about them instead of what their client needs was longer than what their client actually needs. That wouldn't go so well. That would end up in a "you're fired" phone call.
Yeah, absolutely. I think anytime like it's a good lens to put on things of like, if this weren't AI, we know it's AI. If it weren't AI and it were a human, how would we be feeling? How would we be reacting? Would this be acceptable quality of work? Right? Like we just need to remember that.
Yeah. Yeah, and all this technology-driven stuff that is taking over the world, it's very, very easy to lose sight that this is supposed to serve people, humans, right? So we need to pay attention to that human-centric experience throughout, or what's the point? What are we actually doing here? Well, let's go into final thoughts. So when we look at job ads like this, we score them based on two sets of dimensions. And the first kind of bucket of scoring is the job ad itself. How was it written? Did it make sense? Was it clear? Were there spelling errors? All of that stuff. Did it clearly communicate what the company actually needs when hiring? The second bucket is the role design. So is this role as designed sustainable? Is it something that a person can do for the long term? Are there things in place structurally that we believe will help the person who gets this job be successful? If not, why not? What's missing? So we score those out of 10, two different buckets. What do you think about the job post itself? What would you score that out of 10?
Yeah, the job post I gave a 1 out of 10, because it's so poorly done. It's really one of the worst I think that we've come across. Um, Maybe the work sounds interesting. You know, the idea of working on a small team, working at this kind of like
Mhm.
cutting edge technology, trying something new seems maybe exciting. Is this, I mean, like, just bear with me here. Is this possibly a good job hidden by a bad job ad? Maybe. If I knew the salary, I would feel more confident answering that question. But for the job ad itself, garbage. It's just not okay. 1 out of 10. Uh, yeah,
I'm not even sure that they took the time to heat up the garbage.
yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. The job design itself, lots of issues there. A bit more generous, like 3, 4 out of 10 maybe, simply because like for the lower scores, burnout risk, you mentioned it, but the experience that they're asking for doesn't necessarily align with the scope of the role. So they're looking at someone who maybe has like VP or at the very least director level experience. But like that's what they need, but that's not what they're necessarily asking for, which translates to me they don't want to pay for that. They just don't want to pay for that experience. And plus, if you are more senior in experience for a role like this, it's too high of a risk. It's
Mm-hmm.
way too high of risk to leave, say, your big four consulting job to go and do this. For what? Like, what would be the benefit, right? So, it is like a high scope job. So if you want like to gain experience in all of these different buckets, and you're confident that you can build something, and you think that you will get experience from working closely with the CEO or all these other elite, whatever world class people, then sure. But at the end of the day, I think it's a pretty low rating for how the job itself is designed.
Yeah, I was no more generous than you were with this. For the job ad itself, 0.51 out of 10. Like it was pretty atrocious. It was missing so much stuff. The one thing that I did like that they did was the structure of the job ad. The structure itself, just the headings, um, should have told a story, and it should have told a very compelling story about why the candidate wants or should work there, should join this stealth mode startup. But the execution just wasn't there. They didn't put anything remotely relevant in those sections, and it was all just kind of like floating, and it didn't make a whole lot of sense. It wasn't connected. It was weird. So 0.5 out of 10 for that. Super fail. Sustainability, the role design, I'd give it a 2 out of 10, and that's being incredibly generous. I think the only reason that I can, in good conscience, rate it a 2 out of 10 is that everything that they wrote kind of sums up to you will do everything on the business side. You will build the business, administer the business, and make sure that the business things are happening while the lawyers go lawyering and while the technology people build the platform. They didn't actually say that, but they kind of said it. So
Yeah.
that was laid out, but no responsibilities, no qualifications, none of the stuff that we typically look for. Like it was just absolutely devoid of that. And maybe that context, in kind of being fair to them, maybe that context is meant to come out through the process of you clicking on the link and talking to the AI system, the chatbot. Maybe there's a more rich interactive experience there that gives you information, but it wasn't in the job ad, right? You have to give people a reason to click on the link to talk to the AI chatbot, and they did not do that whatsoever. There was no reason to do that. And on the issue of, okay, we don't know what the salary is, and the mismatch in kind of what they seem to be looking for in experience, I would almost argue that they shouldn't be looking for an employee. They shouldn't be looking to hire an employee in this role. They should be going on a founder hunt. They should be looking to add another co-founder to the stack, someone who who has business operations experience, who has structured a business, who is maybe like a former chief operating officer or chief operating officer currently, but is looking to kind of found a company, go looking for that person, because then, they're going to get shares, of course, but that they're going to be committed because of that.
Yeah.
That they're going to have the experience, and your roll of the dice is going to be a lot less risky. So to me, like, even hiring an employee for this it's kind of weird. It's the wrong approach, I think. Wrong strategy.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's why I thought, because they had founding in the title, I thought maybe there would be something in the job ad that mentions it, speaks to it, but no, there's absolutely nothing there.
The job ad title, the way that the role was titled, I really think that it was just meant to like optimize the job ad's placement on LinkedIn or wherever else it was going to be posted. Because even the job ad's kind of disconnected. There's a bunch of just completely irrelevant stuff, like founding, irrelevant. Who cares, right?
Yeah.
Like, maybe you do if you're looking to be a co-founder, but like you said, nothing about that in there.
I think we should click on that link, the AI recruiter link thing, at some point, and then report back on kind of the rabbit hole that we go down.
I did. It
Oh,
goes
you did?
to a 404. That broken. Doesn't actually work.
So then, but so this can't be real.
Or else the job ad's been taken down already.
Yeah, that's true. Sometimes we are covering, like, they're always real job ads, but sometimes they're a little bit older, so it could be that as well. Maybe it's filled.
It could also be that enough people who saw this job posting on LinkedIn clicked the flag as spam thing, because the job ad was so horrible that LinkedIn's algorithm just like screened it out. That's another risk that we don't really talk about a lot on the show, but because how are job ads this bad? But if your job ads are so poorly written and they're so suspect and they look so suspicious, they can be delisted from the platforms
Yeah.
that you're posting them on, just because job seekers think that they're a scam. Tons of scams out there. So if that's not an incentive to do the bare minimum to make yourself look like an actual company hiring an actual job, think about that.
Yeah, absolutely. Wow, that was one for the books.
Absolutely. I think we can safely consider this job roasted. Thanks everybody for joining us in the live studio. We will see you next week, every Friday, same bat time, same bat channel.
Glad you could spend some time with us on Roast the Post, the story behind the bullet points. If today's episode helped you make sense of the hiring landscape, or at least feel less alone in navigating it, don't forget to subscribe. You can find us on YouTube or follow the show on whatever podcast app you trust with your sanity. We're always looking for interesting job postings to break down. So if you've got one, whether it's surprisingly good or impressively confusing, send it in. Listener submissions keep things spicy. Follow that link in the show notes for more. Thanks again for listening. Catch us next time when we take on another posting that definitely has something to say.